Hello, Williamsville East, and welcome to episode 3 of the Bonfire. I'm here today with FBLA's Chai.
Thank you for having me. I'm FBLA's Vice President this year for Williamsville East, and I'm here with Philip.
Let's get started. So, what is FBLA?
FBLA, the Future Business Leaders of America, is a business organization that has chapters across the world, including China, Puerto Rico, and London. And this is a club for people to enjoy the art of business, compete in events, and meet friends and make friends. Anything related to business, really, FBLA has it covered.
It's a big global community that we're all members of.
And what makes FBLA different from other clubs is it's not just about what you do in the club, it's about who you meet in the club. A lot like business in real life. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
Making connections and
Exactly.
working together. What responsibilities do you have as Vice President in FBLA?
So Williamsville East is actually the largest chapter in the Eastern region, with a total membership this year of 288. Usually we have about more than 300 members. So being the Vice President here, we have a lot of paperwork to do, of course, when we have the State Leadership Conference, the National Leadership Conference, and even the Spring District and Fall District meeting. A lot of people show up, we need to get those permission slips, the funds collected, but also the fundraisers that we have here at Williamsville East are a big part of our community and the FBLA organization as a whole.
This is a big operation, but we have a large say in a very global community, so that's kind of an exciting thing for a potential member here, right?
Exactly. Williamsville East has a big influence in the Eastern region, and we take pride in that, and we capitalize on that advantage that we have.
Right. What is your favorite part about being an FBLA member?
Being an FBLA member and officer comes with responsibility, and also comes with a lot of fun activities you can do. There's, of course, the fundraisers that we have, the Commons Cafe here at Williamsville East. We have the Snack Shack here at Williamsville East. And being a part of those, working with those, and working with the people here is my favorite part, probably.
Right, so getting hands-on business experience right here during the day.
Exactly, and you do that business experience with your friends and have fun while you're doing it. And that's an important part about our community here of FBLA students.
What have you personally gained from your time as an FBLA member?
As an FBLA member, I've learned a lot about the content of business, my personal events I've done over the past 3 years now, marketing, client service, I've gotten really good at those, and I can transfer that into my career later on in the future. And more importantly, I've met a lot of people from across the country, not just from our state and our school. Of course, I have met people from those areas as well, but I've met people from across the country who are going to be lifelong business friends and partners of mine.
Right, so it's building those people skills and making real connections while still in high school to get out into the real world.
Exactly, and since this isn't some temporary type club, this is your foundation of business. These are the people that you can do business with for decades to come, and if these connections are viable enough. So it's a very serious and professional, great opportunity to be a part of.
Tell me about the state election being Vice President. What was your campaign like?
Yeah, so for the 2019-2020 year, I was elected the State Vice President for our district. In order to become a state officer of any kind, there's a few steps that you need to follow. There's the state officer exam that we take back in January during the spring district meeting. And for that exam, that's probably, in my opinion, the most difficult part about becoming a state officer. You need to have a thorough understanding about the FBLA organization as a whole, as well as the current members on the national officer team, the current state officers, etc. You need to know more than just business content to be a state officer. You need to show your knowledge about the FBLA community.
Proving that you're an active member and that you devote a lot of time and resources to FBLA. What do you do as a state officer for FBLA?
Well, since I haven't served my term yet, I don't have a thorough understanding, though I do have a lot of friends who have been state officers in the past. From our school, we've had, this year is Sharon Luo, our current chapter president. She is the state vice president. Her position I'll be filling for the next year. There's a lot of duties as a state officer. We have a state officer training, which is going to be over the summer. And throughout the year, we coordinate the fundraisers for the entire state, coordinate the state leadership conference, and overall better the entire state, because that's the goal of the state officer team.
That theme of mentorship, coming back, learning from somebody who is the vice president and learning valuable skills from them.
Exactly.
Let's see. How does FBLA promote success in students?
Exactly. That's a very important part about FBLA. We take pride in that FBLA teaches you more than business skills. Success in business is about who you know. Coming back to that point about networking, FBLA provides you with that social fabric that you need in order to grow past the collegiate level, even into the professional world. FBLA gives you that business experience, that business knowledge, and overall it sets you up in a puts you in a head start from everyone else in the business world, because a lot of people don't have the opportunity to be a part of FBLA, even though we'd like everyone to be a part of FBLA. So we're lucky to have FBLA, and we're proud to have FBLA to promote success for business people, for science people, for computer science, for any interest you really have. FBLA can stimulate those interests.
Right. What qualities are you looking for in potential members of FBLA?
FBLA members can be of any race, gender, age. It doesn't really matter. As long as you're a high school student in the earth, you can be part of the FBLA. Really, we're not looking for specific qualities. If you're interested in business, you can join. If you're interested in computer science, you can join. It's really about how much you want to get involved in FBLA. Not everyone gets as involved as me or other state officers. You can become just a chapter officer. You can just become a member. You can participate as much as you'd like to, specifically.
Right, so it can be as low as paying the dues or as high as trying to climb up.
We don't like to say as low as, because being a part of FBLA is already something that we cherish. You don't have to become a state officer, though. If you want to, that's fantastic.
Right, so any realm of participation.
Exactly.
Is
is appreciated by us.
All right, and what are you hoping members will get out of FBLA when all is said and done?
When all is said and done, hopefully FBLA members have been a part of FBLA for 4 years, from the freshman to senior. You can actually join as early as 7th grade, and we have had members as young as that, which comes back to our high recruitment numbers for Williamsville East. When all said and done, we just want FBLA members to have had a great experience over the 4 years, learned something about business, and potentially met people that they could start businesses with, go to college with in the future, or even just new friends that they might enjoy. It depends on the person.
Right, so both that business success as well as meeting a new community.
Social and business, yeah.
Right, merging those together, and
Exactly, that is FBLA right there.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, now we're going to cut to the panel. Welcome back, everyone. Now we're here with our panel, but first, looks like I need some guests. Let's go for the first one.
Hey guys, I'm back! Leo!
I missed you. It's
Miss
been
you too,
like
Philip.
a month. I haven't
Wow.
seen you at all.
Yeah.
It's weird that we have to have our relationship through this show. We should fix that.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, let's go for our second guest.
You okay? It's Henry. We got Henry, guys. Oh, hi.
What's up, Henry?
Could you not eat on the show? It's kind of hard for our listeners.
My bad.
Henry, there's nobody there.
I thought he was gonna catch it though.
Well, we can always hope, can't we? Speaking of catching outstanding garbage, we're going to be talking about student debt today.
Wow, good roast.
Student debt relief. It's a big part of the 2020 Democratic platform. We've been talking about a lot of different plans. So we're going to talk about our perspectives on college reform and how to keep youth involved in the economy. So I want to start off with a few policy suggestions and get our ideas on these. It's been tossed around by, I think, Warren and Sanders declared presidential candidates that they would like to institute free 2-year to 4-year community college for all United States citizens. What do you guys think of this proposal?
I think that is a solid proposal, and it's something that America has been needing for a long time for more accessible education. Student loans are a big problem for people, like ever increasingly these days, and relieving those for people who are just wishing to get a college education to the point of having a degree through a 2-year school is definitely a good idea.
Right,
I
because
support
people are paying more and more for college. I think the stat is that students are paying 200% more for their college tuition than they did in 1980, adjusted for inflation, because the states aren't paying as much themselves. State governments have been decreasing their education funding, so now students have to pick up that slack, and that's raising tuition costs, which is raising proposed loans. So let's go to Leo real quick. Leo, what do you think of free community college?
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously the key word there is community college, and I think it's a good move. I mean, specifically for community college, there's a reason why it's community college, and we're not forcing private institutions to offer free tuition, because obviously the majority of the population that's going to go to those schools are going to be more affluent, just kids that come from more affluent backgrounds,
higher income bracket.
Instead of doing that, a lot of that money can be put towards community colleges, because most of, if any, of the lower income population of the United States, those kids will probably be most likely attending community college. So
Right, so helping bring those people up to get into the market, to be able to get that job training they need to be able to get into the workforce right away.
Exactly.
I would like to ask, how are candidates Warren and Sanders proposing they pay for?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
advances?
I know that Warren has proposed a tax on the very highest income bracket, so people that are making millions to tens of millions of dollars per year, taxing that top income at, I think, a proposed rate of around 70%, which may seem like a lot, but that's the very, very top. Everything underneath that is still taxed at a normal rate. It's just that very high excess that would be taxed to that amount, and that would cover her plan fully, and actually have a little bit more room with the, so to relieve student debt in her plan, which we'll get into later, it will cost $1.5 trillion over 10 years, which is a lot of money. But her proposal to tax the highest income bracket would cover that and then some.
Seems like a tough proposal to pass.
I feel like there would be a lot of pushback on that, because, especially from the Republican side, there has been a pushback, obviously, for any tax raise.
So there's nothing wrong with wanting to keep your money. I think that's an important thing. But
shouldn't-
also talking about why we would want to use that money for a different purpose and having clear plans is important, which is why I want to move on to the perspective we're already talking about, which is, who do you think should be the target of this relief?
I think this should be limited to lower income families. I think that there's an important stratification in that people who are needing of relief and people who are willing to exploit the system but are not necessarily in need of relief.
In largely capitalistic societies, we have to grapple with where does our moral obligation to help people start and end, in contrast to preserving a free market.
There is a certain thin line that America must navigate in the coming years, that is the line between what is right for personal gain, individual gain, and what should be contributed to the society as a whole.
Yeah, because I 100% support anyone for pursuing to better their lives through the free market, obviously, and that wouldn't be possible if we turn into a completely socialist country too. And in the United States, it might just be more of a cultural thing that here we have a lot of people are driven by success.
By making your fortune, that kind of idea is so driven into us that really there's no way that this doesn't have a cap if it's to exist. And I think that's an important note to leave on. So thank you. Yeah. Thank you guys for coming on for a very deep, insightful conversation.
Yeah.
You good?
That was insightful, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody do it. Point at the screen. Go vote.
Go vote.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right. Well, see you guys in the coming weeks. Episode 4.
Or maybe not.
We will. Don't you doubt us.
Says who?
There will be an episode 4.
And Henry will not be on the next episode.
I'm going to force my way into the episode.
Bye.
No way, I'll force my way to the
Bye.
studio. Bye. Henry's
kids. All right, I think that's it.
All right.
Ooh, snack time. Maybe this one. can a guy get a decent bagel around here?